McCafferty, Chief Executive of Premiership Rugby. So that's the top club professional league in England, which is the 12 clubs that form the Aviva Premiership Rugby competition. And I cover everything from commercial deals, TV deals, through to media communications from the central area, and also the interaction with the unions on the release of international players and so forth.
And that's obviously a very broad role. Is there any particular business focus at the moment for you? Any commercial aspect that you're focusing on in particular?
Yeah, I think we're in a phase now where we're trying to take the next step up in growth. So we've completed recently a new wave of TV deals through until 2021. So that gives us a background which is reliable and predictable, and gives us a framework and gives the clubs a framework within which to operate and a stability. We've also just completed our long-term deal with the Rugby Football Union for the release of England players, the compensation for that, the commercial rights that we run within Premiership Rugby. So the framework, if you like, is set for at least the next sort of 4 or 5 years with a fairly high degree of predictability. That means that in that period we can now sort of refocus on what our next growth strategy is beyond that, and start putting the groundwork in place for that. So that's probably one of the biggest areas of focus for us at the moment, is putting together a new strategy which should take us the balance of this season, and we'll probably look ahead to the next sort of 5 to 8 years.
And that's quite a good body of work that's been done already. What do you think are the main challenges that Premiership Rugby faces in the coming 5 years, say?
I think often we talk about challenges, and no doubt there will be some that will come down the line, but I very much think that it's a question of opportunity as well. And I don't say that glibly. I just feel that rugby is at a point where it is still only scratching the surface of what its ultimate potential will be. We've only been professional for 20 years now. This is our 20th season. We'll celebrate that, but also we've got to remember 20 years isn't very long, and compared to a whole range of other professional sports, both in the UK and overseas, in the States particularly, we're very young still. So I think it's much more about what we can still achieve, how we grow, how we make things happen which will allow that growth to take place successfully, rather than what the barriers are. We'll hit some roadblocks in the road for sure, but bigger than that is, can we tap into all of the opportunities of the way the media market is going to develop? Can we extend our global footprint so more people around the world get exposure to Premiership Rugby, can see that, and therefore start to develop a greater following outside the UK? Can we give our fans in the UK coming to matches a better experience than they currently enjoy, so that more of them come, and more of them come more frequently? All of those normal things that you go through as a business trying to grow is going to be a big feature of the work we do now in this next phase of strategy.
And you mentioned the TV deal. BT Sports viewing figures are rising, and the attendances are also up in the past year in the Premiership. Is it tempting to look elsewhere for expansion then, to the US? You've mentioned that before, and is there more scope for expansion there?
No, I don't think it's an alternative. I think there are two things that you do in parallel. It's really, really important to keep a priority on your home market. Lots of competition out there from within the sport, from other sports, from other forms of entertainment that are non-sports. So we can't lose sight of the things which we have made us successful so far in our core market at home, but also the things that our supporters and followers and audiences in the UK want. But at the same time, and in parallel to that, we feel that there's an opportunity to bring our competition, bring the attraction of it to other markets, and we'll start putting the building blocks in place for that. But that won't be overnight success. It will take us another 5 to 10 years probably to build that out fully, and then we'll have a product hopefully that is loved at home and loved abroad as well.
And the deals with BT Sport and with the RFU now are set for a little while. And another thing that's been set is the salary cap rising to 7 million and then staying there until 2020. Are you happy with that as a level, and how do you think that allows Premiership clubs to compete with the top 14, which obviously has a bit of a higher salary cap?
Yeah, we are happy with that. I mean, we're in an investment phase, as I say, at the moment, where we're still building the competition out, we're building its attraction, we're building its profile. domestically, as I say, and internationally. So we're in an investment phase in the competition where we're getting ready for another level of growth, hopefully coming into the competition. So part and parcel of that is making sure that we live up to what we aspire to, which is being the best and most competitive league in the world. Now, in order to do that, we've got to be able to compete. I think we're relatively comfortable at the moment that we have the kind of level of spend in that particular area of the business on the playing side, with the salary cap set at that level from next season, that we can consolidate a little bit at that level. But we're always going to remain flexible. If the market starts to shift in a different direction and we feel it requires action, and we have a board that is very responsive to that kind of move. But it's important at the moment that we consolidate the position that we've established, both in terms of our revenue, in terms of our expenditure, and in terms of our competitiveness on the pitch, both at home and in Europe. So we think that's sufficient. We'll see whether results prove that to be the case, and if they're not, then we'll look again.